So these are some of the best-selling items for us right this minute and are rocking our sales across the board. Hey, it's Don. Today we're going to look at some of the items that are routinely selling for us all the time. Our sales right now are almost up to fourth quarter level. We're doing all the end and sell similar. We're cranking stuff out. We've got action going on our account. We're working it across the board, and it is working. Our sales are coming in very steady and very regularly, doing it this way. Let's look at some items right now. So let's start off with something most people should recognize. Schlitz beer. And it was quack medicine back then. It helped the stomach and all kinds of things like that. A lot of the malt type of beverages or quackery is basically early beer. It's a nice piece here. It's a malt extract, nice graphics, decent condition for what it is. It's a calendar card as well, so there should have probably been other calendar cards in a series, in a set, may have been issued in a folder. You may have got one every month or something like that, or every other month. It's dated. So there's no doubt whatsoever that this is an 1895 trade card, Victorian trade card for Schlitz beer. Now, it's been up for a little while. I took a $140 offer from somebody, so it's sold for $140. This was purchased in a massive amount of other cards, so I got postcards and some brochures, all kinds of junk. It was just thrown together. At the end of the day, I put it in a big pile. I got a big offer on it, and off we went. So this was an excellent sale here. I don't mind waiting for $140. I believe we turned down $57.50 once before on this one as well. I'm in no hurry to sell some of these because I know if the right person sees it, it's going to sell. Now, I do love posters, and I do sell quite a few of them. We've been selling them routinely now. I've got probably 500-600 posters up. Most of them are for musical groups, maybe an LP release or a local show or something like that. This is 11 by 17. I'm going to show you a similar one we sold too. We sold quite a few this week. This is just a great example here. This one did sell for $24.50. Now, in many cases, I have multiples of these as well, so when one sells, another one can go up and things like that. I believe American Dad had a segment talking about My Morning Jacket, if I'm not mistaken, as well. Now, here's My Chemical Romance. This one went for just over $20, plus they paid for shipping. All of my items are sold shipping extra, so the buyer has to pay for shipping on top of the sale price. Good sale again. It's another 11 by 17. Easy to ship out. These go in the eBay boxes. It's pretty easy. They go diagonal in them. They fit great. I've got videos showing it as well. Now, magazine-wise, we do fairly well. A large number of people bypass the photography ones, but certain issues can do extremely well. And this is the glamour issue of modern photography. Sold for $24 and some change plus shipping, so basically $30 out of this one. It went first class shipped, just FYI. It's 13 ounces, I think, is what one of these runs out for, but they go extremely well if they have the right topic in it. Good sale for a modern photography magazine. Most of them only sell for $8 or so, but if you know to look for the glamour ones, some of the holiday ones, Halloween issues will go very well also. This is one of those dollar purchases as well. Now, I do love postcards, and I do try to buy them in mass bulk quantity whenever possible, and here's a perfect example. I bought this from the family itself, from their estate. The folks who are alive now have no idea who these people are other than the names and the connections. To them, it didn't mean much, so they sold them all straight on out to me. This gentleman is well armed. You can see the shotgun in there. Decent looking cowboy. He's got chaps, leather gauntlets, I guess, or cuffs. Nice image here for sure. This one sold with shipping for $30. Now, another great area for everybody out there is things tied to local businesses and things. This is from Champion Spark Plugs, and this is an employee from one of the Toledo facilities. This is their badge. That number would tie to a record with the company, and they'd be able to tell who would have had that, which employee this was with. It's a nice, interesting piece. Anything of these vintage Champion Spark Plug items I sell all the time. I always sell these. They're always something that will do extremely well. Sold it for, I think, $34 and some change, if I'm not mistaken, plus shipping. These are small, too. It's 1.5 inches or so, I think, maybe almost 2 inches tall. It's not in super condition, but it's original, it's authentic, and it's something that just doesn't show up. Now, these local items obviously will show up around your area for other places. Maybe there was a Ford plant or a Coca-Cola bottling plant or something like that. That's what you need to be looking for. So anything that looks like a spark plug, I look for. Hydromatic is another plant that was out here. They made transmissions, so I look for that. Spicer and Teledyne K made stuff out here. Tomahawk missiles were produced out this way at one time. So there's all sorts of factory pins, badges, and employee pieces that show up religiously around here. So it's something that I always look for. Now here's an interesting postcard, and I purchased this with a whole bunch of other ones. I have talked about these specific postcards here in Patreon. Now, we invested a lot of money into this purchase here because there was a ton of postcards. At this point, we've made a pretty darn good profit off of these, and I still got the majority of them left to sell. It took a little while with these bigger investments, anything over $1,000. You may or may not get your money back right away. So if you can't afford for money to sit there for any length of time, there's many things lots of people should just pass on because they're going to be tying up money that they just can't afford to do that. Now, records and music-related items do extremely well for us. This is a Paul Whiteman. If you're in my Patreon group, I've been talking about 78s as well as cleaning and the whole works. This is a perfect example of something that I look for. So this one sold for $24 plus shipping. So I think it was right at the $31 and some odd cents they paid to get this record sent to them. It's a nice condition record, shipped out without an issue. Now, another area a lot of folks don't mess with record-wise are imports. If it's by someone they've never heard of, a musician or on a disc label they have no clue on, or it has the center punched area in there, all of those reasons are why people pass a lot of these up. They don't know enough about them. This one is a song that was very popular here in my local area, Bossa Nova Twist. That is the reason why this one sold, and I got $60 basically for it. Now, the person who bought this one bought a second disc. I'll show you in just a second here. All told, it went for over $100 for these two. These are cheapo purchases. Usually I can get these sorts of discs for $25 or less in big bulk when I'm buying other records. I try to buy stuff like this in bulk as long as the value is there. And here's yet another import. Latin Soul here. Again, together, this one and the last one, I got just over $100 for them. I probably have 50 cents in both of them together. Now, these were leftovers at a sale. Everybody walked by these. They picked through everything else. All these foreign ones here were just left behind. There's a learning curve with them. It takes more time to look them up and price them. So they're just passed by most people. And if you know a little bit about this area, you can make a lot of money. Now, I like sheet music as well. This is a free sheet that I acquired here. I acquired thousands of sheet music for nothing. Somebody was giving them away. It was from university. I actually have a video showing me pick these up, actually. This one sold for almost $30 plus shipping. It has Clara Bow in it. Look her up if you're unaware of who she was. She's got a lot of movie credits to her name. Very, very popular. Very nice piece as well. Now, one of my favorite areas are uniform buttons. Vintage uniform buttons. Just a button off your shirt or your sleeve cuff. These are just standard buttons that were around all the time back in the 1810 through 1850s era. This is an interesting one with a dragon on the front. It's a one-piece, meaning it's basically like a coin with a shank welded or brazed or whatever the case may be on the back of it. This one sold for $39.99. It's, again, a small size button. This button is 17 millimeters across. It's got some dirt on the face as well. Still an interesting example of a very scarce item. Now, this one is what's called a livery or crest button. We are saved by faith. Now, you can figure out something by the title being written in English and not Latin. That'll help you distinguish who may have used this. The back mark on it as well will help you decide on where it was made. This one's from London on the back. It is marked as such. So you can get some information just by looking at the button itself. And this button here sold for just a hair under $60. Plus shipping. It's been up for a little while. I wasn't concerned on it. I have nothing into these. We purchased tens of thousands of military uniform buttons of this type, thousands of them from several different people, including a warehouse that had tons of these stored in it from the original manufacturer. This is an area, though, that you have to have a ton of research documentation. You can't just find a lot of the information about these sorts of items looking online. You have to own guidebooks to be able to play in this field to some extent, and they can cost a lot of money. Most of the books that cover buttons are long since out of print and can sell for a lot of money. And here's one more example of a uniform button from Toledo, Peoria, and Western Railroad. Now, this is something that turned up locally here in the Toledo area. Was in a box with a bunch of other things. It doesn't look like much to somebody else. We sold it for almost $70 plus shipping. So once again, another good sale here for pennies worth of an item. It's a small size button also. It's only 14 millimeters across, meaning it would have went on someone's cuff. But that's what I have for you today. Well, there we have it. Hopefully that gave you some ideas, some thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button down below. You can also hit the bell icon to be notified if I post new content or go live. Subscribe and tell all your friends.